Hello and welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. Welcome to the Preparing for Grad School International Graduate Students webinar. This webinar is for students joining McMaster University School of Graduate Studies for the fall 2021 term. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. There will be links shared throughout the presentation, and these links will be posted in the chat. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A function in Zoom. So in there, you'll see questions other students has asked as well. So if you have the same question as another student, please upvote that question or give that question a thumbs up. This will help us see if some questions are more popular than others. And this will also push the question up to the top of the list. My name is Yufei. I am the International Graduate Student Coordinator at the School of Graduate Studies. To start today's session, I would like to acknowledge the land that brought us all together. Even though that probably none of us are on this land right now, but McMaster do recognize that we and acknowledge that we are located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations, and within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. We are all invited to learn about and acknowledge Canada's rich Indigenous history. And I invite you to explore this history and explore the culture when you eventually come on campus by looking at the Indigenous artwork on McMaster campus and in Hamilton in general. Today, we will talk about what happens after you accept your offer for graduate studies at McMaster University. So this includes the administrative processes, contacting your department or the School of Graduate Studies if you have questions, the orientation events that are facilitated by the School of Graduate Studies, information about traveling to McMaster University, which includes government requirements and university requirements, and some tips about how to prepare for your travels. At the end, we'll have some time for live Q&A to address the questions that has not been already answered in by text in the Q&A section. So let's start by talking about what happens after you have accepted your offer. With your offer letter, the first thing we recommend all international graduate students to do is to apply for your study permit as soon as possible. To do so, you will need your offer letter. This can be your conditional offer and other documents required by the government of Canada. This may be your current citizenship information, your financial information, and others that are specifically required by the government. We have step-by-step instructions to apply for new study permits and to renew your study permits on our immigration advising page. If you already have a Canadian study permit and it has not expired yet, you do not have to apply for a new one. Make sure that you should extend your study permit at least 30 days before it expires, if it will expire during your program. And if you have attended a university or a school before joining as a McMaster, make sure to update your profile on the government website to indicate that you will be studying at McMaster University. If you have any questions about your study permit application or any immigration processes, please contact our immigration advisor at immigration@mcmaster.ca. Our immigration advisor is a licensed professional and will be able to provide advice that are suitable for your situation. So the administrative processes including enrollment, meeting your course and program requirements is managed by your program, and detailed information and instructions will be communicated to you directly by your program. If you haven't done so, please respond to your offer on the application portal before the due date indicated by your program. If your program requires any deposit fee payments, please make sure that you do so, and not all programs require this. Make sure to upload your student card photo by July 16th if you're able to enroll in courses. If your enrollment is currently open, please make sure that you're fully enrolled by August 3rd to avoid late fees. If you cannot enroll right now due to a program requirement or specific requirements from your faculty that are beyond your control, please don't worry about it. You won't be charged late fees, and your program will make sure to communicate to you if your enrollment opens after this date. Make sure to pay your tuition and all the necessary fees for the fall term by September 25th. More information about these steps are available on our graduate schools page for successful applicants. So many graduate students will be working as teaching assistants or research assistants. So here's some information about what you need in order to work in Canada and work with McMaster. To work in Canada, you must have a social insurance number, and you will apply for the social insurance number after you land in Canada, because the application requires specific confirmation of the date that you have landed in Canada. You will need a Canadian bank account. You will also see the condition of work allowance outlined on your study permit. If you do not see it or are not sure about your work allowance on your study permit, please contact our immigration consultant directly at immigration@mcmaster.ca. Graduate students at McMaster can work up to an average of 10 hours per week on campus. Getting paid. So there may be two ways that you will get paid depending on what the payment is for. For employment, such as TA or research assistant or your research scholarship, you will be asked to share your direct deposit information with the department by completing a form, and these payments will be deposited directly into your Canadian bank account after enrolling in the direct deposit. Other scholarships or other awards payments will be sent to your email via Interact e-transfer, which will contain instructions for you to deposit this fund into your bank account. If you're a student with disability or you're seeking accommodations, I highly recommend for you to reach out to the Student Accessibility Services, known as SAS, directly before your classes or academic work begins, and preferably as soon as possible, because sometimes setting up these accommodations and just knowing more about your need may take some time. You're highly encouraged to make an appointment at the link on the slide. And you can learn more about graduate disability and accommodations on the Graduate Studies website. And of course, now more than ever, setting up your digital presence is more important than ever before, because a lot of your coursework, a lot of our communication will be done digitally. As soon as it's available, you're encouraged to activate your Mac ID. So your Mac ID gives you access to services like your McMaster email or your Microsoft 365 account. And for some of you who's already explored it from our last session, the off-campus housing portal. So you're highly encouraged to activate your Mac ID as soon as possible. McMaster students also have full access to the Microsoft 365 suite, and you can go on to the McMaster UTS site to sign up and log in and install it to your personal devices. Some students from certain areas may require a VPN, so that's a virtual private network, to access materials in Canada. We found that most students do not require a VPN to access the resources they need, but if you do need a VPN, please go on to the link on our UTS page to explore what is available for students. And as with anything else, you will need to activate your Mac ID to have access. So as the pandemic situation develops, McMaster is still planning for the fall to welcome students back in the capacity that is safe to do so. So please check the Back to Mac page for the most up-to-date information about the university's plans. This page contains the most up-to-date information about news that are relevant and impacts our Back to Mac plan, and frequently asked questions about accessing the campus and health and safety protocols. This page also contains recordings of back-to-Mac events such as the town halls, and I highly recommend to use the information on this page to plan to make your plans instead of going to third-party resources, because they may not have the most up-to-date information. And I know that you may have a lot of questions on your mind and don't know who to contact. In general, if you have a question about your application or admissions process, such as clearing your conditions or enrolling in courses, please contact your program directly. Your program will also be able to help you with course requirements, so what courses to take, your tuition, and as well as your TA assignment if it's indicated on your offer letter. There are a few areas where we can support you from grad studies. So this includes general questions about graduate studies, the policies, and the grad calendar, resolving technical issues with your photo upload or your SGS 101 and 201 enrollment, and completing CPP forms. And of course, if you're not sure where to go, please feel free to email me anytime and I will direct you to the right person. I can also meet with you one-on-one and help you if you have any questions about travel. You're also welcome to sign up for the International Grad Navigator program. So this program is in place to help all of our incoming students, to help them ease into the McMaster community. If you sign up for the program, you'll be matched with a current international graduate student, hopefully, preferably likely from the same or similar culture as you, and or speak the same language as you. They will connect with you one-on-one to share their experiences and answer any questions you may have about life at McMaster and life in Hamilton. For this section, I would like to invite my colleague at the School of Graduate Studies, Andrea, to talk about what we have planned for graduate orientation.
Thank you, Yufei. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to describe a little bit more about the upcoming sessions that we have available for you to help you get off to a great start here at McMaster and throughout your studies. So all of the information that we're talking about today is available on the new Graduate Student Orientation Hub, and we'll be putting the link in the chat for you as well. You can find resources and supports, all the online activities and events and sessions to help you navigate through your journey. So do check that out, as we'll be adding new sessions as things progress. Next slide, please. So in terms of orientation events facilitated by Graduate Studies, we have upcoming an international grad students Q&A, which will give you the chance to ask current international grads about their experiences and their tips for new students. So we highly recommend attending that session if you're available. We also have a session on preparing for graduate school that will be for all incoming graduate students, international and domestic, where we'll go into a little bit more in depth about the resources that are available to you during your grad journey here. And we'll be offering a session for graduate students who have parenting responsibilities, those who are arriving with or having kids in grad school. We'd like to help you to connect and learn from the experiences of other grad students who are managing parenting while in grad school. So those are a few of the facilitated by grad studies events. And with the next slide, I'd like to tell you about other orientation events that are being offered through our campus partners through different areas of the university. On the Orientation Hub page, you'll find all of these sessions and links to register. So there's a session on equity, diversity, and inclusion, or EDI fundamentals. That's should give a great foundation for anyone coming into our Canadian context here, and also a great prep for future professional development. We'll have a session on coping with back to campus anxiety for all of us who are returning to campus in this COVID era. That's facilitated by the Student Wellness Center. There's also a session called Introduction to Model. Model is an area of campus that offers free workshops and training and resources for students whose first language is not English and who are looking to improve their language skills. So I highly recommend checking out Model and getting to know the folks over there who are offering services throughout the year. Personality dimensions and inclusive collaboration are two upcoming sessions that are really designed around developing your self-awareness, helping you to understand yourself better and how you work in teams. This is really important in the research and academic environment. And so we highly recommend checking those out if it works with your schedule. And we have a grad studies librarian here, Leanne Romaine, and she'll be offering a session through the McMaster libraries on conducting a systematic review. So that's a great chance to get to know Leanne as well and a bit about the library services. There'll be a session on disability and graduate school, an introduction to student accessibility services and building community connections that's offered in partnership with the Student Accessibility Services Center. And we'll be having a writing workshop called Writing Outlines, which is offered by the Writing Center. And there you'll learn about some of the pre-writing strategies, such as outlining, that can be helpful to you now and throughout your degree. Just a great way to get to know what the services are and learn some new skills, hopefully along the process too. So we will let you know about these events and more through email. You don't have to sign up or anything. We've got your email addresses, so we'll be sending out updates about new sessions as they come along, and we'll be keeping our website up to date as well. So please do keep an eye on those emails, because we have a lot of resources that we want to share with you now and throughout your time with us.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing all of you at our future events. We have a lot planned for you, and you'll be able to register for them as soon as you find out about them through email. So next, I will talk about traveling to McMaster in the current situation. And please note, all the university and government requirements that I will talk about in this section is accurate as of today, or accurate as of this moment. As things continue to develop and continue to change, I highly recommend for you to check the web pages that I will mention later for the most up-to-date information. In this section, I will talk a bit about what you can do to prepare for your arrival. Some COVID-19 travel measures, including the latest vaccinated traveler exemption, and what happens and what you can do after you arrive. To prepare for your arrival, it is best to determine the timing of your arrival first. So the Canadian government has indicated that students should not arrive too early because they may be suspected to be coming to Canada for tourism reasons, which is not an essential reason to travel to Canada right now. Students usually arrive about 3 to 4 weeks before the start of their program. So in mid or just a bit early to mid or to late August, and some students very well can arrive in September. When you're thinking of traveling to Canada, please make sure to bring these very important documents with you at all times in your carry-on package, carry-on luggage instead of your check luggage. So this includes your passport or travel document, your offer letter from McMaster University, and if by the time you travel, you're already enrolled in courses, then your enrollment letter, your letter of introduction indicating your study permit is approved. So in some cases, this letter may be called the port of entry letter. So this letter, the commonality of this letter is that it specifically states that your study permit application has been approved and contains your name and a barcode or a unique identifier number. So the border agent can use it to give you your study permit. If you already have a study permit, please make sure just to bring it with you. Your financial proof that you have enough funds to support yourself during your stay in Canada. This can be a bank statement. Either a valid electronic travel authorization, ETA, or temporary resident visa, TRV. So if this is your first time applying for a study permit, you will receive one of these, depending on your country of citizenship, as soon as your study permit is approved. So you don't have to apply for a visa. You'd have to apply for your first visa from a separate process. If there's are any other document your visa office told you to bring, please make sure to bring it, as well as your quarantine plan, which I will go over a little later in the presentation. Here are some common items that you should bring with you. That includes a power adapter from the country that you're traveling from, if it's different from Canada, and if you're bringing electronics from your home country. Make sure to bring your personal medicine and doctor's prescriptions, or if applicable, bring your medical history with you in case you need to communicate this to anyone in Canada. Make sure to bring non-perishable snacks, as fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, fresh perishable foods will not be able to make it through the border. So if you're going to bring a snack, make sure it's non-perishable. Make sure to bring copies of your official documents and emergency contact information. So even if you have made one copy and have it of your passport or documents and have it with you, I highly recommend to make another copy to keep it in another luggage or leave it with family or friends back home. Just in case you lose your documentation, having a copy will make things so much easier to get replaced or get renewed if you have lost original copies. Consider comparing prices of items in your home country and in Canada to determine if you should bring it or buy it in Canada. So some of these things may be clothes from international brands. You may not necessarily need to pack, a full year worth of clothes with you if you can get the same things in Canada and sometimes even cheaper. So I highly recommend to check one of the bigger brands or common like Amazon, common shopping sites, just to see what the cost of things are like in Canada. And if you're coming from a place where the climate is very different from Canada, maybe consider to purchase some of the seasonal items in Canada. This includes, of course, preparing for the summer and our harsh winters. Some students may not know that Canada can also get quite warm. So Hamilton is located in southern Ontario, and we get 4 seasons a year. If you're arriving in August, the daily temperature can raise above 30 degrees Celsius, and that's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And the days are long, so you'll have up to 14 hours of sunlight when you arrive. So if you arrive in the summer, make sure that you do still have your summer clothes, and you don't need to kind of wear your winter jacket at the airport just yet. And of course, Canada is very notorious for having a very cold winter. And if you're from a place that does not usually have these kind of winters, this may not be a familiar kind of feeling for you, and you might not know how to prepare for it. If you're coming from a place where they don't have a winter like Canada, you might not want to purchase a winter jacket from your home country, just because the winter jacket gets sold from places where they don't get very cold, may not even be appropriate or may not be warm enough for Canada. So if you're coming here in the summer, you may consider to get a winter jacket when they go on sale, when they are in the stores in Canada in the fall. In the winter months, so that's December to February, temperature is usually below 0 degrees Celsius, and possibly can get below negative 20 degrees Celsius on some days. As a tip, this picture is from one of McMaster's kind of pictures of our campus, and I cropped it to have a very kind of in-person, very real example of what McMaster University students wear in the winter. So as you can see, they have a big, thick winter jacket, winter boots, and make sure that your winter boots are warm and preferably waterproof, because you will be walking into areas where snow may have melted, or walking into snow and then going inside where it will melt on your shoes later. So you don't want them to get too wet. Warm headgear like a hat that covers your ears, scarves, and gloves or mittens. Some students ask about having snow pants or winter pants. In our experience, unless you're going to be outside for hours at a time, or if you're going to do winter sports like skiing or snowboarding, snow pants really is not necessary and can really work against you, because it can be very, very warm in the winter indoors. So you don't want to be going back and forth and taking your pants off whenever you're traveling inside. And it is also very important for you to layer up, because it's very common for students to kind of wear a t-shirt in their classes or in the library when they're studying inside, but then have a winter jacket over top of it, or another sweater or a winter jacket over top of it when they go outside. To learn more about life in Hamilton and living in Hamilton in general, I highly encourage you to attend the Life in Hamilton and Canada webinar that's facilitated by our International Student Services. This event, all international students, including undergraduate students, are welcome to attend this event, where staff will talk about Canadian culture, what to do in Hamilton, and kind of how to take care of your physical and mental health. Now we will talk about preparing for your arrival in Canada if you're planning to travel to Canada. Please note this information is accurate as of today, as of this moment. Things can change without notice at any given moment. So I highly encourage you to check the international grad students traveling to McMaster's page for the latest requirements from the university, and also check the government pages for any updates. Usually, if there's a big update from the government, we will also provide the link to that update on our Traveling to McMaster page. For McMaster international students, you must declare your arrival through the iSend app. And this is how the university would know that you're planning to travel to Canada, and you can also indicate your wellness and quarantine status through the app. So to prepare for your arrival, you should gather all the documents, purchase your plane tickets, and book your 3-day quarantine at the government authorized hotel. Each step listed on this slide will be gone over in detail just in a few minutes. So if you have any questions, please hold on to your questions until later in the session. Step 2 is declaring your arrival plans through the iSend app. So when you log into the app, you'll see information forms asking you to fill out the date of your arrival and your plans for quarantine. Next, you will prepare for your arrival 72 hours before your departure. So these two requirements are from the government of Canada for all travelers. You must obtain a negative COVID-19 test result within 72 hours of departure and download and complete the information on the ArriveCAN app that is from the government. After you arrive, you'll be doing several tests, and upon landing, you will quarantine for 3 nights at a government-approved hotel, do a self-test on day 8, and if that test is negative, complete your quarantine on day 14th. And of course, while you're quarantining, you will be asked to complete daily wellness reporting on iSend. So now I will go over each of the steps in greater detail. So the step 1, preparing for travel. You should gather all the documents outlined earlier in the prepare for your arrival section. The most important documents the border agents will ask to see is your letter of introduction or study permit and your offer letter. So your letter of introduction confirms that the government of Canada has approved your study permit, and your offer letter indicates the university is inviting you to attend the program at your start date. And again, determine your arrival date and purchase your plane ticket. So McMaster University, we don't have blackout dates, so you can choose to arrive on a date that works for you. And please, as the travel situation is changing, please review your airline's policies. And I highly recommend to book with an airline with more flexible cancellation or change policy, just in case things develop in the direction that we're not anticipating. After you book your plane ticket, please book your 3-day quarantine at a government authorized hotel on the government website. To declare your arrival on iSend app, you need to register for the iSend app with instructions on the Traveling to McMaster page. You do not need a McMaster email to register for this app, but we highly encourage you to do so, just so all the communication that you have with the university are kept at your university email. And I highly recommend for you to set up your email, because going forward, when your programs start, most, if not all, the communications from the university will only be sent to your McMaster email. Make sure to input your quarantine plan on the iSend app by completing the guided questions. For McMaster International graduate students, you may choose to quarantine at a private residence of your choosing or book a hotel package through the iSend app. So the private residence can be your new apartment or any other private residence that meet the requirement from the government. And you can use the link below to determine if your private residence is suitable as part of your quarantine plan. If you don't have access to quarantine at a private residence, you can review and book hotel packages that includes a 11-day stay at a local hotel, as well as daily food delivery and transportation, all inclusive, that is just for McMaster University students. So you may view this option on the iSend app after you sign up. Steps 3 is to obtain a negative COVID-19 test result within 72 hours of departure. From the website listed on this page, there are lists of accepted tests, and please note antigen tests are not accepted. Make sure that you keep the proof of your test results for 14 days after you arrive in Canada, as Health Canada or other government agent may be asked to see it during these 14 days. There are a few exemptions for this test, including travelers who has previously tested positive for COVID-19 and within 90 days of their arrival. So they must provide evidence of their positive COVID test conducted between 14 and 90 days before your scheduled flight. Details about what kind of documents you need and this exemption can be found on the government website. Within 72 hours of your arrival in Canada, you will be asked to download and complete information requested on the ArriveCan app. So this app is managed by the government and they will ask you about your quarantine plans and other information they need for your safe arrival. Please note that you will not be able to cross the border without information on the ArriveCan app. If you realize you forgot to complete it when you reach Canada, the border agents will ask you to complete this on your phone or on your tablet right before they can speak with you. So I highly recommend completing the information on this app before you arrive, when you're still at home at your comfort. So here I will talk about the new travel measures for vaccinated travelers entering Canada. Please note all the information I said earlier, most of the information are applicable for these travelers as well. All travelers are still required to complete a COVID-19 test before they enter Canada, regardless of their vaccination status. Starting July 5th, 2021, the Canadian government indicated that fully vaccinated travelers may be exempt from quarantine. So that includes the 3-day hotel stopover and the day 8 test requirements. To be considered fully vaccinated, you must have received the full series of accepted COVID-19 vaccine that is accepted by the government of Canada. So currently there are 4 of them. That is the Pfizer, the Moderna, the AstraZeneca, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So if you have another vaccine, you won't be eligible under the current requirements. You also need to make sure that you have received the last dose or the latest dose at least 14 days prior to the day that you enter Canada, and to make sure to upload your proof of vaccination in either English or French in ArriveCan. There are a few other requirements and conditions indicated on the government website below, but ultimately it is up to the border agent to determine if you qualify for the exemption based on your every individual's information. So the government of Canada requires all travelers to still have a quarantine plan and have a place where they can quarantine, even if they're seeking this exemption, because it is still possible for the border agent to determine that you do not meet all the conditions of this exemption. And next, after you arrive, all travelers will receive a COVID-19 test when they cross the border into Canada. If you're arriving by air, the testing will be completed before you even leave the airport. There will be signage and instructions at the airport for you to take on this test. And at the same time, you will also receive a take-home test kit for your day 8 test. If you're arriving by land, please follow the instructions at the land border between Canada and the United States. Some crossings can do the test on the spot, but some others will require you to do it by yourself at home within 24 hours. So if you're crossing the border by land, please make sure to check with your border crossing. If the border agent determines that you do not meet the vaccinated travelers exemption, you'll be required to quarantine for 3 nights at a government-approved hotel until you receive the test that you received when you land. On day 8, you will also complete a COVID-19 test while you're in quarantine. If you receive a negative result, you may complete your quarantine after 14 days. And if you receive a positive result, Health Canada will follow up with you directly, and you will be required to isolate yourself immediately for another 14 days. While you're in quarantine, please make sure to complete the daily wellness reporting on the iSent app. And once you've completed your quarantine, please make sure to declare the completion of your quarantine on the iSent app as well. After you have arrived, you can get your life started and prepare your life in Hamilton while in quarantine by applying for your social insurance number online. So after you land in Canada, you can, if you already have your apartment or housing set up in Canada, you're more than welcome to start the online application. Once you know your most up-to-date address, please update it on Mosaic so we have your latest contact information. And you're also more than welcome to participate in online activities and start your online course content if they're already available. After completing your full quarantine, this is when you can visit a bank to get a Canadian bank account. Please make sure to maintain your isolation during the 14 days of your quarantine. If the bank notice that you have broken your quarantine by visiting the bank, you will be reported for breaking the quarantine laws. So please make sure to only do this after you finish your quarantine. You can get your bus pass from the Graduate Student Association. The bus passes will allow you to use Hamilton's public transit and give you student discounts for other transit systems in Ontario. So please check the Graduate Student Association website for more information about how to get your bus pass. And if applicable, if you're thinking of transferring to an Ontario driver's license or thinking of driving in Ontario, please visit the Government of Ontario's website about how you may do so. And of course, health coverage is very important. If you arrive before September, you will have access to your university health insurance plan beginning August 10th or your scheduled arrival date in Canada, whichever is later. If you are arriving early and are interested in beginning your health plan on August 1st or the day or at a later date in August, please follow the instructions on the UHIP webpage and contact International Student Services to activate your plan. UHIP is a mandatory plan and you're automatically enrolled and charged for it every year. It is also mandatory for your dependents, so your spouse and or your children to be enrolled in the plan. So to enroll them in the plan, please contact International Student Services to add them in your plan. And more information, detailed information about UHIP is available on our health insurance page. Students are also eligible for supplementary coverages. So MBA students will be eligible for the MSU health and dental plan, and all other graduate students are eligible for the Graduate Student Association's health and dental plan. If you're taking on teaching assistant or research assistant roles, you are also eligible for QP, so the Teaching Employment Union's health and benefits plan. So this is all the information I have for you today. As a next step, please keep in touch and visit our graduate orientation page for the latest information about events. Sign up for the International Grad Navigators program and our upcoming webinars. And this webinar and our other webinars will be recorded and be made available on our orientation webinars page. I hope everyone will have a great day, and I hope that we will see you at McMaster soon. Thank you.